What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Vinyl Thoughts. Today, I'm going to continue sort of celebrating the fact that I have now moved to Houston, Texas, by talking about what I feel is one of the most important albums to come out of the city that I now call my home. And that album is the Dirty Rotten LP by D.R.I, or Dirty Rotten Imbeciles. Now, D.R.I were formed in 1982 in Houston, Texas, and this particular album was recorded in late 82 and released in 1983, originally on a 7-inch that was played at 33 RPM speed, and then it was eventually reissued as an LP. It was originally called the Dirty Rotten EP, and if you look, you can still see that there's a remnants of what would have been an E on there, and they just sort of erased it a little bit to turn it into an L. So there you go. But this album is just filled with fast, aggressive, abrupt, hardcore punk, and it's chaotic. It's chaos of its time, which is probably why I enjoy it so much, because there's an honesty to the noise that these young people are making, and it's made without the hindsight that we have now. If somebody makes an album like this, they have years and years and albums of shit to compare it to and to learn from. In 1982, sure, there were other bands doing similar music, but there wasn't a lot of it, and there wasn't, like I said, years of hindsight. And so you just hear this sort of natural, honest aggression just flowing out of these songs from these dudes that are just kind of like, let's just see how fast we can fucking play until we almost can't keep shit on the rails anymore. And it's just so enjoyable to listen to from that aspect. If you tried to do that shit today, the sort of innocent rebellion would just be lost. I don't know. It's already been done. I'm not saying it can't be done well today. I'm just saying it'll never be the same, unfortunately. And I love how this album is just a window into 1982 hardcore punk. It's like a piece of hardcore punk history that you're listening to. And that's why I prefer this version of the album. So there you go. A whole lot of fucking tracks, a lot of them really short, but all of them really aggressive, a lot of them very fast. And when the album later on was re-released with the cover that you all probably are more aware of, the album was remixed, and sure, you could say it sounds better. You can kind of hear things a little more clearly, but I don't know, it loses a little bit of its charm when you make things so fucking clear. But that's coming from me. If you've watched my videos on my channel, you know I don't like remasters or remixes. I like things sounding as they sounded when they came out, because that's that little slice of history, and that shit is important to me. I don't really care about hearing things sound better. I want to hear them as they were. And as you can see from the back cover, by the time this LP version of this was released, they had already moved the fuck out of Houston, Texas. So, a piece of Houston, Texas history, but, they quickly moved on. Also, I don't know if this is just my version of the album, but so this side, which you would think would be side A, begins with Sad to Be. That side begins with I Don't Need Society. But you put the album on with how it's indicated on the vinyl. We'll get to that in a second. And this side is actually the first side that you end up playing, not this side. And then the re-released version of this album actually has this as the beginning of the album, which honestly, I Don't Need Society is actually a better album opener than Sad to Be, in my opinion. So, hey, that's one thing I think they kind of got right on the reissue. But let's look at the vinyl. So there you go. Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, Dirty Rotten LP. And then on the back, like I said, it tells you this side and that side, but that's not what you get when you play it. So that's a really interesting question for the dudes in D.R.I. if you happen to watch this video. Was that intentional? Was it always intended to sort of trick somebody to play one side instead of the other? I don't know, it's pretty fucking great if it was, but if it was also just sort of a mistake, once again, I love that it came out that way and I wouldn't want it to be changed. So there you have it, the Dirty Rotten LP. If you've never heard this, I don't know if it's the best introduction to D.R.I. I'd probably start with dealing with it or crossover, because eventually they sort of shed this sort of aggressive hardcore punk thing and move into a crossover thrash, which I think they're way more known for, and those albums are fucking great too. But hearing where these dudes started is really fucking enjoyable, and like I said, it's a little piece of history from the town that I now call my home. So thank you for indulging me in talking about this little piece of history that it's just so fucking enjoyable to listen to. I actually think if you go on Apple Music and maybe Spotify, they have the older version of the album to listen to. So listen to that one compared to the reissue and, see which one you like better. Either way, it's totally fun. 22 songs of just in-your-face hardcore punk that could never be done as well as this these days. So anyway, thank you for listening to me rant once again. I appreciate you all continuing to watch my videos, and please, if you're new, subscribe to the channel and tell your friends. Anyway, that's all I got for this week. I will see you all again very soon.